Opening, standing at the threshold. Welcome, friend, to this threshold moment. As we stand between what was and what will be, between the year that has passed and the year that awaits, we find ourselves in a sacred space, a space of possibility, of renewal, of transformation. The year 2025 is ending. Perhaps it brought you joy and growth. Perhaps it brought you challenges and pain. Perhaps, like most years, it brought both in measures you didn't expect. And now, as 2026 approaches, you may be wondering, how can I make this year different? How can I find more peace, more purpose, more presence in my life? This is why you're here. And this is why we turn to the ancient wisdom of Buddhism, teachings that have guided millions through 2,500 years of human experience, through countless new years, through endless cycles of endings and beginnings. The Buddha taught that every moment is a new beginning. You don't have to wait for January 1st to start fresh. But there is something powerful about marking time, about acknowledging transitions, about using the turning of the calendar as an opportunity for conscious intention setting and transformation. So let us journey together through these teachings. Let us explore what Buddhism offers for creating a peaceful, meaningful, and awakened 2026. Not a year of perfection. That's not the Buddhist way, but a year of presence, of practice, of growth, of peace. Part 1. Releasing the Old Year with Gratitude and Forgiveness. The Story of the New Year's Bell. In Japan, there is a beautiful New Year's tradition called Joya no Kane. At Buddhist temples across the country, a large bell is struck 108 times on New Year's Eve. Each strike represents one of the 108 earthly desires or delusions that, according to Buddhism, cause human suffering. As each bell rings out across the winter night, practitioners are invited to release one attachment, one delusion, one source of suffering from the passing year. By the time the 108th bell sounds, they have symbolically released all the burdens they've been carrying, and they step into the new year light and free. An old monk explained to his students, "Each year we accumulate so much, not just possessions, but grudges, regrets, disappointments, and stories about how things should have been. We carry these into the new year like heavy bags, wondering why we feel so exhausted. The bell teaches us to put down the bags, to release what no longer serves us, to forgive what needs forgiving, including ourselves." One student asked, "But Master, if we release everything, won't we forget the lessons we learned?" The monk smiled. "Wisdom you keep, stories you release. The lesson from failure stays, the shame about failing goes. The growth from difficulty remains, the resentment about the difficulty leaves. The bell helps you distinguish what to keep and what to let go." Teaching. The practice of letting go. As we approach 2026, one of the most powerful things you can do is consciously release 2025. Not to deny what happened or pretend it didn't matter, but to honor it, learn from it, and let it go so you can step forward unencumbered. What needs releasing? 1. Grudges and resentments. Holding on to anger from 2025 is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. Whatever happened, whoever hurt you, whatever injustice occurred, holding on to the resentment hurts only you. This doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you're choosing freedom over bondage to the past. 2. Regrets and should-haves. I should have taken that opportunity. I should have been more patient. I should have known better. These shoulds are second arrows, additional suffering you're adding to what already happened. You did what you did with the awareness, resources, and circumstances you had at the time. You cannot change the past, but you can stop punishing yourself for it. 3. Failed expectations. Perhaps 2025 didn't go as you planned. Perhaps you didn't become who you thought you'd become, achieve what you hoped to achieve, or experience what you expected to experience. The gap between expectation and reality creates suffering. Release the expectation. Accept what actually happened. 4. Old identities. I'm someone who always struggles with this. I'm the kind of person who, I'll never be able to. These identity statements are chains. Just because something was true in 2025 doesn't mean it must be true in 2026. People change. You can change. Release old stories about who you are and who you're capable of becoming. 5. Unfinished business. The project you didn't complete, the relationship you didn't repair, the goal you didn't reach. Either commit to addressing it in 2026 or release it consciously. Don't carry it as vague guilt into the new year. Teaching, the practice of gratitude. Before we release, we honor. Buddhist practice teaches us to approach endings with gratitude, recognizing that even difficult experiences have shaped us. The gratitude practice for 2025. Take time before the new year begins to reflect on what did 2025 teach you? Even painful experiences are teachers. What did you learn about yourself, about others, about life? What wisdom did this year offer, even through difficulty? Who supported you? Who showed up? Who offered kindness? Who stood by you? Even small acts of support deserve acknowledgement and gratitude. What brought you joy? Don't let the difficult moments eclipse the good ones. What moments of beauty, laughter, connection, or peace did 2025 offer you? Honor them. What did you accomplish? Not just the big achievements, but the small victories. You survived difficult days. You showed up when it was hard. You kept going. That matters. How did you grow? Are you wiser than you were a year ago? More compassionate? More resilient? More patient? Growth isn't always visible, but it's almost always happening. Practical application. The New Year's release. The 108 releases practice. You don't need to release 108 things like the Japanese bell ceremony, but you can adapt this practice. Step 1. Write what you're releasing. On separate pieces of paper, write down, I release my resentment toward person for action. I release my regret about situation. I release my expectation that 2025 would whatever. Step 2. Read each one aloud. I release my resentment toward person for action. I release my regret about situation. I release my expectation that 2025 would whatever. Step 3. Destroy the papers. Burn them safely, tear them up, bury them, some physical act that symbolizes release. As you do, imagine each burden lifting off your shoulders. Step 4. Take a cleansing breath. After releasing, take 3 deep breaths. Feel the lightness. Feel the space you've created. The forgiveness practice. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful releases. As the new year approaches, practice forgiveness for
others who hurt you. I forgive person for action. I release the resentment I've been carrying. I choose freedom. Yourself for your mistakes. I forgive myself for action. I did the best I could with what I knew. I release the shame and self-punishment. Life for not being what you expected. I forgive life for not going according to my plans. I release my resistance to what is. I accept reality. Remember, forgiveness is not about condoning harmful behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the prison of resentment. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. The Gratitude Letter to 2025. Before the year ends, write a letter to 2025. Dear 2025, thank you for... List what you're grateful for. You taught me. List lessons learned. I'm releasing. List what you're letting go. I'm carrying forward. List wisdom and growth you're keeping. Goodbye 2025. I honor you and I release you. This ritual creates closure. It acknowledges that 2025 mattered while giving you permission to step fully into 2026.
Part 2. Setting Intentions with Wisdom. The story of the three travelers. Three travelers met at a crossroads on New Year's Day. Each was embarking on a journey, and they shared their plans. The first traveler said, "This year I will reach the Golden City. I will travel every day without stopping. I will push through exhaustion, ignore distractions, and let nothing deter me from my goal. By year's end, I will be in the Golden City, or die trying." The second traveler said, "I have no destination. I will wander wherever the wind takes me. I will follow whatever path looks interesting in the moment. Maybe I'll end up somewhere meaningful. Maybe not. We'll see what happens." The third traveler said, "I am traveling north. I don't know exactly where I'll end up, but I know the direction I'm heading. I will walk steadily, but I will also rest when I need to rest. I will adjust my path when I encounter obstacles. I will appreciate the journey itself, not just the destination. And I will remain open to beautiful detours that align with my northward direction." By year's end, the first traveler had pushed so hard toward the Golden City that he'd exhausted himself, ignored his health, and alienated everyone around him. He was bitter and burned out, even though he'd reached his destination. The second traveler had wandered in circles, ending the year roughly where he'd started, with nothing to show for his journey but scattered experiences and no sense of progress or meaning. The third traveler had made significant progress northward. He hadn't reached any Golden City, but he'd grown immensely, met wonderful people, learned valuable lessons, and felt deep satisfaction with his journey. He had direction without rigidity, intention without obsession. A wise teacher who heard this story said, "The third traveler understands the middle way. Goals without flexibility lead to burnout. No goals at all lead to aimlessness. But clear direction with flexible methods, this is wisdom." Teaching. Buddhist intention setting versus Western goal setting. Western culture often approaches New Year's resolutions with a rigid, achievement-focused mentality. Specific numerical goals, all-or-nothing thinking, self-criticism when you fall short, external measures of success, future-focused at the expense of presence. Buddhism offers a different approach: direction over destination, process over outcome, self-compassion over self-criticism, internal measures of growth, present moment engagement while moving toward positive change. The difference. Western goal: I will lose 30 pounds by December 31st. Problem: rigid, outcome-focused, no room for obstacles or life changes. Buddhist intention:
I intend to care for my body with kindness and awareness this year. Wisdom, flexible, process-focused, compassionate, adaptable. Western goal, I will never get angry again. Problem, unrealistic, sets you up for failure, creates shame. Buddhist intention, I intend to notice anger when it arises and respond with wisdom rather than reactivity. Wisdom, realistic, process-focused, allows for being human while still growing. Teaching, the Eightfold Path as a framework for 2026. Instead of random resolutions, you can organize your intentions around Buddhism's Eightfold Path, the Buddha's prescription for living wisely and ending suffering. 1. Right understanding. Wisdom. Intention. In 2026, I will seek to see things as they really are, not as I wish them to be. Practice. Regular reflection, study, meditation. Question to ask, am I seeing clearly or through the filter of my desires and fears? 2. Right intention. Wisdom. Intention. I will cultivate intentions of goodwill, non-harm, and letting go. Practice. Before actions, check your intention. Is it rooted in kindness or in selfishness? Question. Why am I doing this? What's my true motivation? 3. Right speech. Ethical conduct. Intention. I will speak truthfully, kindly, and only when my words serve a good purpose. Practice. Pause before speaking. Consider, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Question. Will these words create more harm or more healing? 4. Right action. Ethical conduct. Intention. I will act in ways that don't cause harm to myself or others. Practice. Consider consequences before acting. Live according to your values. Question. Does this action align with who I want to be? 5. Right livelihood. Ethical conduct. Intention. I will earn my living in ways that don't harm others and, if possible, benefit the world. Practice. Reflect on your work. Does it contribute to suffering or to well-being? Question. Am I proud of how I spend my days? 6. Right effort. Mental development. Intention. I will cultivate positive states of mind and work skillfully with negative ones. Practice. Notice what you're feeding in your mind. More kindness or more criticism? More peace or more chaos? Question. Where am I putting my mental energy? 7. Right mindfulness. Mental development. Intention. I will stay present and aware rather than lost in thoughts about past and future. Practice. Regular mindfulness practice, bringing attention to this moment. Question. Where is my mind right now? Can I come back to the present? 8. Right concentration. Mental development. Intention. I will develop the ability to focus my mind through meditation and single-pointed attention. Practice. Regular meditation, doing one thing at a time. Question. Am I scattered or focused? Can I give this moment my full attention? Practical application. Creating your 2026 intentions. The intention setting practice. Step 1. Reflect on what matters most. Before setting intentions, get clear on your deepest values. What truly matters to you? Connection and relationships, growth and learning, service and contribution, peace and well-being, creativity and expression, freedom and adventure? Your intentions should align with your values, not with what you think you should want. Step 2. Choose 3 to 5 intentions, not 20. Quality over quantity. Choose a few areas for growth rather than trying to transform everything at once. Format your intentions as, in 2026, I intend to. Examples. To cultivate daily mindfulness practice. to respond to conflict with curiosity rather than defensiveness, to honor my body's needs for rest and movement, to speak my truth with kindness, to let go of perfectionism and embrace good enough. Step 4. Make them wise. W. Wholehearted. Do you genuinely care about this, or is it someone else's expectation? I. Inspiring. Does this intention energize you or feel like punishment? S. Sustainable. Can you maintain this over time, or will you burn out? E. Evolving. Can this intention adapt as you and your circumstances change? Step 5. Identify practices, not just outcomes. For each intention, identify specific practices. Intention: I intend to cultivate more peace in my life. Practices: 10 minutes of meditation each morning, 1 day per week with no social media, evening gratitude reflection, saying no to commitments that deplete me, spending time in nature weekly. The practices are how you live your intention day by day. Step 6. Build in compassion for imperfection. You will not follow through perfectly. Life will happen. You will forget, struggle, fail, and fall back into old patterns. This is not a problem. It's being human. Add to each intention, and when I fall short, I will meet myself with compassion and begin again. The intention ceremony. Create a small ceremony to set your intentions. Prepare. Write your intentions beautifully on paper. Create a peaceful space. Light a candle or incense. Speak your intentions aloud. In 2026, I intend to, first intention. This matters to me because why? I will practice this through specific practices. When I struggle, I will be kind to myself and begin again. Repeat for each intention. Make an offering. Place your written intentions somewhere meaningful. On your altar if you have one, somewhere you'll see them daily, in a special box or journal. Close with a vow. I offer these intentions for
Part 3. Cultivating Peace Through Daily Practice. The story of the Master's daily routine. A student traveled far to study with a renowned Zen master, famous for his unshakable peace and wisdom. The student expected to learn secret techniques and advanced practices. On his first morning, the master woke at dawn, sat in meditation for 30 minutes, then made tea mindfully. He drank the tea, washed his bowl, and began his daily tasks, sweeping, gardening, preparing food, all done with complete attention. The student watched for a week. Every day was the same: meditation, tea, simple tasks done mindfully, meditation in the evening, early sleep. No secret teachings, no advanced practices, just basic activities done with extraordinary presence. Finally, the student asked, "Master, when will you teach me the secret to your peace?" The master replied, "I've been showing you all week. There is no secret. There is only this: I wake up and I meditate. I drink tea and I taste the tea. I sweep and I feel the broom in my hands. I eat and I experience the food. I sit with students and I am fully present. I sleep when I'm tired. This is all." "But that's so simple," the student protested. "Anyone could do that." "Yes," the master smiled, "anyone could, but most people don't. They eat while planning their day. They sweep while thinking about yesterday. They drink tea while worrying about the future. They meditate while making shopping lists. They're always somewhere else, never here. My peace comes not from doing extraordinary things, but from doing ordinary things with extraordinary presence." The master's peace came from his daily routine, not from achieving enlightenment at once and then being done, from showing up every single day to practice presence. This is crucial to understand. There is no amount of weekend workshops, retreats, or peak experiences that can substitute for consistent daily practice. Transformation happens in the accumulation of ordinary moments lived with awareness. The 3 pillars of daily practice. Buddhist tradition teaches 3 essential practices, often called the 3 trainings. 1. Sila, ethical conduct, living according to your values, not causing harm, being truthful and kind. 2. Samadhi, mental cultivation, meditation, mindfulness, developing concentration and calm. And 3. Prajna, wisdom, study, reflection, contemplation, understanding the nature of reality. For a peaceful 2026, you need all 3. Ethics alone without meditation becomes rigid moralism. Meditation alone without ethics becomes selfish escapism. Wisdom alone without practice becomes intellectual knowledge that doesn't transform you. Practical application, building your daily peace practice. The morning foundation, 15 to 30 minutes. How you start your day shapes the entire day. Instead of immediately checking your phone or jumping into reactivity, create a morning practice. 1. Wake with intention, 1 minute. Before getting out of bed, take 3 deep breaths. Set an intention for the day. Today I will practice presence, or today I will be kind to myself. 2. Meditation, 10 to 20 minutes. Sit comfortably. Follow your breath. When your mind wanders, it will gently return to the breath. This trains your ability to notice where your attention goes and bring it back. This is the foundation of mindfulness. 3. Gratitude, 2 minutes. Name 3 things you're grateful for. This trains your mind to notice the good, not just the problems. 4. Intention review, 2 minutes. Read your yearly intentions. Remind yourself of the direction you're moving. 5. Mindful transition, 5 minutes. Instead of rushing into the day, take your first activities slowly and mindfully, making coffee, showering, getting dressed. Be present with these simple acts. Throughout the day, mindfulness bells. Set reminders on your phone or use naturally occurring events as mindfulness bells, moments to pause and return to presence. Natural mindfulness bells, every time you sit down, every time you wash your hands, every time you open a door, every time you hear a notification, every time you feel tension in your body. When the bell rings, 30 seconds. Stop what you're doing. Take 3 conscious breaths. Feel your body. Notice, where is my mind? What am I feeling? Return to presence, what's actually here right now. This practice interrupts automatic pilot and brings you back to life. The evening practice, 10 to 20 minutes. End your day with reflection and release. 1. Meditation, 10 minutes. Sit quietly. Let the day settle. You're not trying to achieve anything, just sitting, breathing, being. 2. Review, 5 minutes. Reflect on your day. Where did I practice my intentions? Where did I forget and go on autopilot? What am I grateful for from today? What did I learn? What do I need to forgive, myself or others? 3. Letting go, 2 minutes. Consciously release the day. Tomorrow is a new beginning. Take 3 deep breaths and imagine putting down the day's burdens. 4. Sleep preparation, 3 minutes. Instead of screen time before bed, try gentle stretching, reading wisdom literature, loving kindness meditation for yourself and all beings. The weekly practice, observing one day differently. Choose one day per week, perhaps Sunday, and live it more intentionally. No unnecessary technology, slower pace, more silence, time in nature, longer meditation, creative expression. connection with loved ones, rest. This weekly Sabbath gives you a taste of deeper peace and recharges you for the week ahead. The monthly practice, Retreat Day. Once a month, if possible, take a day for deeper practice, extended meditation, several hours, silence, journaling and reflection, walking meditation, study of Dharma teachings, review of your intentions and progress. This monthly deepening strengthens your daily practice and gives you perspective. Making practice sustainable. Start small. Better to meditate 5 minutes daily than to plan for an hour, fail, and quit. Build slowly. Be consistent. The same time each day helps build the habit. Your body and mind will start to expect it. Don't be perfect. You'll miss days. You'll struggle. This is normal. The practice is beginning again, not never failing. Find support. Practice with others when possible, a meditation group, an online sangha, a friend committed to similar practice. Celebrate. Notice when practice is happening. I meditated today. That matters. Small acknowledgments build momentum. The heart of daily practice. Remember the Master. There is no secret. There is only showing up, day after day, to practice presence in ordinary moments, drinking tea, washing dishes, breathing, walking, listening, being here. This is how peace is cultivated. This is how 2026 becomes a year of transformation, not through dramatic changes, but through the steady accumulation of present moments lived with awareness.
Part 4. The Art of Mindful Living. The Story of Thich Nhat Hanh and the Dishes. The Vietnamese Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh tells a story about washing dishes. He writes, "While washing the dishes, one should only be washing the dishes. This means that while washing the dishes, one should be completely aware of the fact that one is washing the dishes." At first glance, that might seem a little silly. Why put so much stress on a simple thing? But that's precisely the point. The fact that I am standing there and washing these bowls is a wondrous reality. I'm being completely myself, following my breath, conscious of my presence and conscious of my thoughts and actions. There's no way I can be tossed around mindlessly like a bottle slapped here and there on the waves. He continues, "If while washing dishes we think only of the cup of tea that awaits us, thus hurrying to get the dishes out of the way as if they were a nuisance, then we are not washing the dishes to wash the dishes. What's more, we are not alive during the time we are washing the dishes. In fact, we are completely incapable of realizing the miracle of life while standing at the sink. If we can't wash the dishes, the chances are we won't be able to drink our tea either. While drinking the cup of tea, we will only be thinking of other things, barely aware of the cup in our hands. Thus, we are sucked away into the future, and we are incapable of actually living 1 minute of life." Teaching. Mindfulness is living your life. Mindfulness is not just something you do on a meditation cushion for 20 minutes each morning. Mindfulness is a way of living your entire life. Mindfulness means being present with what you're actually doing, experiencing the moment you're in, not the moment you wish you were in or the moment you'll be in later. Single tasking instead of multitasking. Bringing curiosity and attention to ordinary activities. Noticing when your mind has wandered and gently bringing it back. Mindlessness, the opposite, looks like eating while scrolling social media, barely tasting your food. Showering while planning your day, barely feeling the water. Talking to someone while thinking about what you'll say next, barely listening. Walking while lost in thought, barely noticing your surroundings. Living on automatic pilot, going through the motions without presence. The cost of mindlessness.
you miss your life. Days, weeks, months, years pass while you're somewhere else in your mind. You're always preparing for the next moment instead of living this moment. And ironically, when the next moment arrives, you're not there for it either. You're already thinking about the moment after that. Teaching, the miracle of the ordinary. Buddhism teaches that enlightenment is not found in extraordinary experiences, but in bringing extraordinary awareness to ordinary life. Consider the miracle that your heart beats without you telling it to. The miracle of taste, how complex and rich a simple piece of fruit is. The miracle of breath, always available, always sustaining you. The miracle of your senses, sight, sound, touch, smell, giving you constant contact with the world. The miracle of this moment, which has never existed before and will never exist again. When you're truly present, ordinary life is revealed as extraordinary. The problem is not that life is boring. The problem is that you're not paying attention. Practical application. Mindful living practices. Practice 1. One activity, fully present. Choose one daily activity to do with complete presence. Mindful eating. Sit down, no eating while standing or walking. No screens, books, or distractions. Look at your food before eating. Notice colors, textures, arrangements. Smell the food. Take small bites. Chew slowly, tasting fully. Notice the urge to rush. Return attention to the actual experience of eating. Mindful showering. Feel the temperature of the water. Notice the sensation on different parts of your body. Smell the soap or shampoo. Hear the sound of water. Feel the texture of your own skin under your hands. When your mind wanders to planning or worrying, bring it back to sensation. Mindful walking. Walk more slowly than usual. Feel each foot touch and leave the ground. Notice the shifting of weight. Feel the movement in your legs and hips. Notice your breath. See what's around you. Really see, don't just glance. When thoughts arise, acknowledge them and return to the physical experience of walking. Choose one activity and commit to doing it mindfully every day in 2026. This becomes your anchor practice. Practice 2. The stop practice. Throughout your day, practice stop. S. Stop. Pause what you're doing. T. Take a breath. One conscious full breath. O. Observe. What am I experiencing? Body sensations, thoughts, emotions? What's happening around me? P. Proceed. Continue with more awareness. Set reminders or use natural transitions before meetings, before meals, between tasks to practice stop. This brings you back to presence repeatedly throughout your day. Practice 3. Mindful transitions. Instead of rushing from one thing to the next, make transitions mindful. Between work tasks, close your eyes. Take 3 breaths. Feel your body in the chair. Notice any tension and soften. Set an intention for the next task, then begin. Coming home. Before entering, pause at the door. Take 3 breaths. Release the day's concerns. Set an intention, I'm present for my family, or I'm home, then enter. Before sleep. Don't go straight from screen to bed. Sit on the edge of the bed. Take 3 breaths. Review the day with gratitude, then let it go. Sleep. These transition practices prevent you from carrying stress from one situation to the next. Practice 4. Single tasking.
Multitasking is actually rapid task switching, and it's exhausting and inefficient. Practice single tasking. When working, one browser at a time, phone on silent and out of sight. One task until complete or until a natural break. Full attention on what you're doing. When with people, phone away, eyes on the person, actually listening, not planning your response. Present with them, not somewhere else in your mind. When resting, if you're resting, actually rest. Don't half rest while feeling guilty. If you're watching something, watch it. Don't scroll while watching. Whatever you're doing, actually do it. Practice 5. The 5 senses check-in. When you notice you're lost in thought, bring yourself back through your senses. What do I see? Name 5 things. What do I hear? Name 4 sounds. What do I feel physically? Name 3 sensations. What do I smell? Name 2 scents. What do I taste? Name 1 taste. This 5-4-3-2-1 practice immediately grounds you in the present moment. Practice 6. Technology use practice. Technology is one of the biggest obstacles to mindful living. Create boundaries. Morning. Don't check phone for first hour after waking. Start day with your own mind, not others' content. During day. Specific times for checking email or social media, not constant checking. Notifications off for non-essential apps. Phone in another room when focusing on important tasks. Evening. No screens 1 hour before bed. Phone charges outside bedroom. End day with reflection, not scrolling. Weekly. 1 day with minimal or no technology. Time in nature without phone. Face-to-face connection without devices. The transformation of mindful living. When you live mindfully, you experience more richness. Life becomes interesting again. The ordinary reveals its extraordinary nature. You feel more peaceful. Instead of constantly living in past regrets or future worries, you rest in the present. You enjoy things more.
Part 5. Transforming difficulty into growth. The story of the arrow maker. In ancient India, there was a master arrow maker famous throughout the land for his perfect arrows. A monk passing by stopped to watch him work. The arrow maker sat completely absorbed in his craft. He was carefully straightening an arrow, examining it from every angle, making minute adjustments. A king's parade passed by. Elephants, dancers, musicians, hundreds of people. The noise was tremendous. The spectacle was extraordinary. But the arrow maker didn't even look up. He remained completely focused on his arrow. After the parade passed, someone asked him, "Did you see the king's parade? It was magnificent." The arrow maker looked up confused. "What parade? I was making an arrow." The monk realized something profound. This man's concentration was so complete that external distractions, even a king's parade, couldn't pull him away from his task. But then the monk watched more closely and noticed something else. Not every arrow the arrow maker made came out perfect. Sometimes the wood was flawed. Sometimes his hand slipped. Sometimes the feather wasn't quite right. When an arrow was imperfect, the arrow maker didn't throw it away in frustration. He didn't berate himself for the mistake. He simply studied the flaw, understood what caused it, made what adjustments were possible, and began work on the next arrow with greater skill. The monk asked, "Master, how do you remain so peaceful when things don't go as planned?" The arrow maker replied, "Wood is wood. Sometimes it has knots. Feathers are feathers. Sometimes they're crooked. My hands are human hands. Sometimes they slip. I don't fight with reality. I work with what is. Each flawed arrow teaches me something for the next one. This is how I've become skilled, not by avoiding difficulty, but by learning from it. Teaching. Difficulties are the path. One of the most transformative Buddhist teachings is this: difficulties are not obstacles to the path. Difficulties are the path. Western culture teaches us to pursue comfort and avoid difficulty. Buddhism teaches something radically different. Difficulty is where growth happens. Challenges are opportunities. Problems are teachers. The Buddha's own path. He experienced the difficulty of witnessing suffering. This difficulty led him to seek truth. He experienced the difficulty of extreme asceticism. This difficulty taught him about the middle way. He experienced the difficulty of facing his own demons under the Bodhi tree. This difficulty led to enlightenment. Without difficulty, there would have been no awakening. Your difficulties in 2026. Whatever challenges arise, and they will arise, are not signs that you're failing or that something is wrong. They're opportunities for growth, lessons to be learned, strength to be developed. The Buddhist view of difficulty. Buddhism doesn't see difficulty as punishment from the universe, evidence that you're on the wrong path, something to be avoided at all costs, or a sign of personal failure. Buddhism sees difficulty as an inherent part of existence, the first noble truth: life contains dukkha, a teacher showing you where you still have work to do, an opportunity to develop patience, courage, and compassion, a catalyst for transformation. The first noble truth teaches that life contains difficulty, not life is suffering, a mistranslation, but life includes unsatisfactoriness, discomfort, and challenge. This is not pessimistic, it's realistic. When you accept this, you stop being surprised and devastated by each difficulty. The second noble truth teaches that suffering comes from our relationship with difficulty, specifically from our craving for things to be different than they are and our resistance to what is. The third and fourth noble truths teach that there is a path through difficulty that leads to freedom, not by eliminating all challenges, but by transforming how you meet them. Practical application: working with difficulty in 2026. Practice 1. The 3-step difficulty practice. When you encounter difficulty, try this 3-step practice. Step 1. Acknowledge: this is difficult. This is really hard right now. Don't minimize or deny the difficulty. Don't immediately jump to positive thinking or spiritual bypassing. Just be honest. This is hard. Step 2. Normalize. Difficulty is part of life. I'm not being singled out. This is just what being human includes. This puts your difficulty in context. You're not uniquely cursed. You're experiencing what all humans experience. Step 3. Ask: what might this difficulty be teaching me? What can I learn here? How might I grow through this? Not why is this happening to me, which leads to victimhood, but what's available for learning here. Practice 2. The growth question. When facing challenges, ask: who am I becoming through this difficulty? Am I becoming more patient through this delay? More compassionate through this suffering? Stronger through this test? Wiser through this mistake? More resilient through this setback? Reframe difficulty as character development. You're not just enduring it, you're becoming someone new through it. Practice 3. The obstacle is the way. The Stoics taught the obstacle is the way. What blocks your path becomes your path. Example: you're too busy to meditate. Don't see busyness as an obstacle to peace. See it as the exact place to practice peace in the midst of activity. Bring mindfulness to your busy tasks. Practice stop throughout your busy day. The busyness becomes your practice ground. Example: you have a difficult colleague. Don't see them as an obstacle to your workday peace. See them as your patience teacher, your compassion practice.
Every interaction is an opportunity to respond wisely rather than react. They're making you stronger and wiser. Practice 4. The Difficulty Journal. Keep a journal of difficulties and what they taught you. Challenge, what happened. Initial reaction, how I first responded. What it triggered, what buttons it pushed. What it taught me, lesson learned. How I grew, how I'm different because of this. Gratitude, if possible, something to appreciate about this difficulty. Over time, you'll see patterns. You'll see that you have survived every difficulty before this one. You'll see that challenges have made you who you are. Practice 5. The Post-Difficulty Reflection. After a difficulty passes, and they do pass, reflect. What strengths did I discover in myself? What did I learn that I couldn't have learned any other way? How am I wiser now? What would I tell someone facing something similar? How can I use this experience to help others? This reflection transforms suffering into meaning. Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps, wrote, "In some ways, suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it finds a meaning." Specific difficulties you might face in 2026. If you face loss. Loss is one of life's most difficult experiences. Buddhism's teaching on impermanence doesn't make loss easy, but it provides a framework. Everything that comes together eventually comes apart. Nothing lasts forever. Grief is love with nowhere to go. Honor it. Loss teaches you what truly mattered. The pain of loss is proportional to the depth of love. Practice. Allow yourself to grieve. Don't rush healing. Find support. Honor what was lost. Eventually, let it become part of your story rather than the whole story. If you face failure. Buddhism sees failure differently than Western culture. Failure is information, not identity. Every master was once a beginner who failed repeatedly. Failure means you tried something difficult. Success and failure are temporary states, not permanent conditions. Practice. What did this failure teach you? What will you do differently next time? Who are you becoming through this? Remember, the arrow maker made many imperfect arrows on the path to mastery. If you face illness or pain. Physical difficulty is part of having a body. Bodies age, sicken, experience pain. This is not personal. You can't always control the body, but you can control your relationship to pain. Acceptance doesn't mean liking pain. It means not adding mental suffering to physical pain. Practice. Work with pain rather than against it. Breathe into it. Soften around it. Find the moments of not pain. Be kind to yourself in your struggle. If you face betrayal or relationship difficulty. Interpersonal pain often feels the most personal. People act from their own pain, not from who you are. Everyone is doing their best they can with their level of consciousness. You can't control others, only yourself. Boundaries with compassion are possible. Practice. Feel your hurt without becoming it. See the other person's humanity, even if you can't be.
Part 6. Compassion, the Heart of the Path. The Story of Kuan Yin. In Buddhist tradition, Kuan Yin, also known as Avalokiteshvara, is the bodhisattva of compassion. According to legend, Kuan Yin had achieved full enlightenment and was about to enter nirvana, complete liberation from the cycle of birth and death, the ultimate goal. But at the threshold of nirvana, Kuan Yin heard the cries of the world, all the beings still suffering. In that moment, she made a vow. I will not enter final peace while a single being still suffers. I will remain in the world, working for the liberation of all beings until every last one is free. Because of this vow of universal compassion, Kuan Yin is depicted with 1,000 arms, each hand holding a tool for helping beings, each hand reaching out to ease suffering in its own unique way. A student asked a master, "Is the story of Kuan Yin true? Did this really happen?" The master replied, "The story is true in the way that matters most. It teaches us that true awakening is not just about our own liberation, it's about dedicating ourselves to the welfare of all beings. It teaches us that the highest form of freedom is not escaping the world, but engaging with it compassionately." But how can Kuan Yin help everyone? There's so much suffering. Kuan Yin doesn't help everyone directly. Kuan Yin is awakened compassion itself, the inspiration that moves in every heart that helps, every hand that comforts, every person who chooses kindness. When you act with compassion, you become one of Kuan Yin's 1,000 hands. Teaching: compassion as the path and the goal. In Buddhism, compassion, karuna, is not just a nice quality to cultivate. It's considered essential to awakening. In fact, wisdom without compassion is seen as incomplete, even dangerous. Compassion means the wish that others be free from suffering, the willingness to be moved by others' pain, the capacity to act to help relieve suffering when possible, the understanding that we're all interconnected. Compassion is not pity, looking down on someone suffering from a superior position, empathic distress, being so overwhelmed by others' pain that you can't function, enabling, helping in ways that actually harm, self-sacrifice to the point of self-destruction. True compassion is grounded in wisdom, sustainable, you can't help others if you're depleted, boundaried, you can say no when appropriate, includes yourself, you're a being deserving of compassion too. The 3 objects of compassion. Buddhist teaching identifies 3 types of beings to practice compassion toward. Those you love. This is usually easiest. Of course you have compassion for your children, your partner, your close friends. This is natural compassion. Practice. Deepen it. Wish them freedom from all suffering. See their struggles with tender eyes. Neutral people. The checkout clerk, the mail carrier, the stranger on the street. You don't know them, but they're human beings who experience suffering just like you. Practice. See their humanity. They have hopes and fears. They've known pain and joy. They want to be happy just like you. Difficult people. This is the advanced practice. People who've hurt you, people you dislike, people who trigger you. Practice. This doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior or removing boundaries. It means recognizing that even difficult people are suffering beings. Hurt people hurt people. Everyone is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Self-compassion, the foundation. The Buddha taught you could search the whole world and never find anyone more deserving of your love and compassion than yourself. Many people find it easier to have compassion for others than for themselves. They're harsh critics of their own mistakes, unforgiving of their own flaws, relentless in their self-judgment. But you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you don't have compassion for yourself, your compassion for others will be limited, conditional, and eventually exhausting. Self-compassion has 3 components. 1. Self-kindness versus self-judgment. When you make a mistake or face difficulty, speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. Not, "You idiot, you always mess up, what's wrong with you?" But, "This is really hard, you're doing the best you can, it's okay to struggle." 2. Common humanity versus isolation. When you're suffering, remember you're not alone. Not, "I'm the only one who feels this way, everyone else has it together." But, "This is part of being human. Everyone struggles. I'm not uniquely flawed." 3. Mindfulness versus over-identification. When painful emotions arise, hold them with balance. Not, "I am my pain, this is who I am, I'm drowning in this." But, "I'm experiencing pain right now. It's difficult, but it's not all of who I am." Practical application. Cultivating Compassion in 2026. Practice 1. Loving kindness meditation. This is the foundation compassion practice. Set aside 10 to 20 minutes. For yourself, may I be safe and protected. May I be peaceful and happy. May I be healthy and strong. May I live with ease. Really feel these wishes for yourself. If it's difficult, that shows you need this practice. For someone you love, may you be safe and protected. May you be peaceful and happy. May you be healthy and strong. May you live with ease. Picture them as you offer these wishes. For a neutral person, the person who made your coffee, a neighbor you barely know, may you be safe and protected. May you be peaceful and happy. For a difficult person, this is hard. Start with someone mildly difficult, not your best enemy. May you be safe and protected. You're not saying their behavior is okay, you're recognizing their humanity. For all beings, may all beings be safe and protected. May all beings be peaceful and happy. May all beings be healthy and strong. May all beings live with ease. Practice this regularly. It rewires your brain toward compassion. Practice 2. The self-compassion break. When you're struggling, pause and do this. 1. Acknowledge. This is really hard right now. I'm suffering. 2. Normalize. Suffering is part of life. Others feel this way too. 3. Kind gesture. Place hand on heart or give yourself a gentle hug. 4. Kind words. May I be kind to myself. May I give myself the compassion I need. Practice 3. Compassion for daily annoyances. Most days don't have major tragedies, but they have lots of minor annoyances. Practice compassion for these. Traffic is slow. Everyone here just wants to get where they're going. We're all in this together. Someone is rude. They're probably having a hard day. Everyone is fighting a battle I know nothing about. You make a mistake. I'm human. Humans make mistakes. This is an opportunity to learn, not evidence that I'm worthless. Technology doesn't work. Getting frustrated won't help. Can I meet this with patience? These small moments are where compassion becomes a habit. Practice 4. The just like me practice. When you encounter anyone, try this. This person has a body and a mind just like me. This person has feelings, emotions, and thoughts just like me. This person has experienced pain and disappointment just like me. This person wants to be free from suffering just like me. This person wishes to be happy just like me. This practice breaks down the illusion of separation and builds connection. Practice 5. Compassionate action. Compassion is not just a feeling, it's action. In 2026, commit to acts of compassion. Small daily acts. Hold a door. Smile at a stranger. Give a genuine compliment. Really listen when someone talks. Let someone merge in traffic. Thank service workers by name. Larger acts. Volunteer your time. Donate to causes you believe in. Mentor someone. Care for someone ill or elderly. Stand up against injustice. Offer help when you see need. Start where you are. Do what you can. Every act matters. Practice 6. Difficult compassion. This is advanced practice. For someone who's hurt you, acknowledge your pain. What they did hurt me. My anger is valid. See their humanity. They're a flawed human being who was probably acting from their own pain. Practice wish. May they find peace. May they stop causing harm. May they heal whatever in them creates this behavior. Maintain boundaries. I can wish them well and keep them out of my life. Compassion doesn't mean being a doormat. It means seeing clearly and responding wisely. The transformation of compassion. When you practice compassion consistently, something shifts. Your heart softens. You're less reactive, less defensive, more open. Your relationships deepen. People feel your genuine care and presence.
Part 7. Impermanence. Finding peace in change. The story of the cherry blossoms. A young monk was walking through a cherry orchard with his teacher during the height of bloom season. The trees were laden with delicate pink blossoms, and the beauty was breathtaking. The monk said, "Master, this is so beautiful. I wish it could stay like this forever." The teacher replied, "Do you? Would you really want that?" "Of course, who wouldn't want to preserve such beauty?" The teacher picked up a blossom that had fallen to the ground. This blossom was beautiful on the tree, and it's still beautiful here on the ground. Tomorrow it will wilt, and next week it will return to the earth. But next spring, these trees will bloom again, different blossoms, but just as beautiful. If spring lasted forever, would you even notice the beauty anymore? The monk was quiet, contemplating. The teacher continued, "The cherry blossoms are precious precisely because they don't last. You travel to see them because you know you only have a week or two before they're gone. Parents treasure their children's youth because it passes so quickly. The sunset takes your breath away because in 30 minutes it will be dark. Beauty and impermanence are inseparable. If you try to hold on to the blossoms, you crush them. If you accept that they will fall, you can fully appreciate them while they're here." The monk understood. Impermanence is not the enemy of beauty, it's the source of it. Teaching, anicca, the truth of impermanence. Impermanence, or anicca, is one of the 3 marks of existence in Buddhism. Everything that arises will pass away. Everything that comes together will eventually come apart. There are no exceptions. This includes pleasant experiences, they will end. Unpleasant experiences, they will also end. Your body, it's aging and changing every moment. Your thoughts and emotions, constantly arising and passing. Your relationships, they evolve, change, or end. Your circumstances, nothing stays the same. Your very sense of self, you're different from who you were 10 years ago. All material things, they decay, break, or are lost. This is not pessimism, this is reality, and it's actually tremendously liberating. Why impermanence causes suffering? The second noble truth teaches that suffering comes from tanha, craving or clinging. Specifically, craving for pleasant experiences to continue. I want this to last forever. It won't. Craving for unpleasant experiences to end. I can't stand this anymore. Make it stop. It will end, but not according to your timeline. Craving for permanence in an impermanent world. I need things to stay the same. I need security and certainty. Impossible. We suffer not because things change, but because we want them not to change. We suffer not because we lose things, but because we try to hold on to what cannot be held. Why impermanence is liberating. Once you deeply accept impermanence, several things happen. 1. Difficult experiences become more bearable. "This too shall pass" is not just a platitude, it's a fundamental truth. The pain you're in right now will not last forever. The difficulty will evolve. The darkness will lift. When you know this deeply, you can endure more because you're not trapped. 2. Pleasant experiences become more precious. When you know your time with someone is limited, you treasure it more. When you know this beautiful day won't last, you appreciate it more fully. When you know your youth, your health, your opportunities are temporary, you don't take them for granted. 3. Change becomes less frightening. If you accept that everything changes, then change is not a crisis, it's just what happens. You can adapt, flow, and grow with the changes instead of rigidly resisting them. 4. Clinging loosens. When you truly understand impermanence, you can't cling so tightly. You hold things lightly, knowing they're temporary. This doesn't mean not caring, it means loving without grasping. 5. The present moment becomes more important. If everything is temporary, then this moment matters, not the imagined future when everything will be perfect, not the remembered past when things were better.
This moment, right now, because it's all you actually have. Practical application in 2026. Practice 1. The Impermanence Contemplation. Once a week, sit quietly and contemplate impermanence. Choose one area. Body contemplation. My body is aging every moment. Cells are dying and being born continuously. This body will eventually fail and die. This is not morbid, this is reality. How does knowing this change how I treat my body? How does it change my attachment to youth and appearance? Relationship contemplation. Everyone I love will eventually die, or I will die first. Our relationships are constantly evolving. The person I love today is not exactly who they were yesterday. We have limited time together. How does knowing this change how I show up in relationships? Am I present with them or taking them for granted? Experience contemplation. This moment is arising and passing even as I notice it. This mood, this thought, this sensation, all temporary. Nothing about my inner experience is permanent. How does knowing this change my relationship to difficult emotions? Can I let experiences come and go like waves? Practice 2. The Grateful Goodbye. When something ends, a relationship, a job, a phase of life, an experience, practice grateful goodbye. 1. Acknowledge what's ending. This is over. This chapter is closing. Honor what it gave you. This relationship taught me. This experience showed me. This time in my life helped me grow. Accept that it's ending. I can't hold on to this. It's time to let it go. Express gratitude. Thank you for what this was. I'm grateful it existed. Turn towards what's next. I'm ready for what comes next, even though I don't know what that is. This practice transforms endings into transitions, not tragedies. Practice 3. Appreciating the temporary. Consciously appreciate things specifically because they're temporary. With your child, they're only this age once. Next year they'll be different. Let me be fully present with who they are right now. With a beautiful day, this perfect weather won't last. Let me really experience it while it's here. With your health, my body works pretty well right now. That will change someday. Let me appreciate and care for it now. With opportunities, this chance might not come again. Let me engage with it fully while it's available. This isn't about creating anxiety, it's about creating appreciation. Scarcity creates value. Practice 4. The this too practice. When you're in the midst of something, pleasant or unpleasant, remind yourself. In pleasant moments, this too will pass. Let me fully experience it now without clinging to it lasting forever. In difficult moments, this too will pass. This intensity will not last. I can bear this because it's temporary. This creates equanimity, balance of mind in the face of changing circumstances. Practice 5. Noticing small changes. Train yourself to notice impermanence in small, constant ways. The changing light throughout the day. Your breath, each one different, never exactly repeated. Your thoughts and moods shifting moment to moment. The seasons turning. Your body, different each morning. People around you, everyone aging, changing, growing. When you notice these small changes, impermanence becomes less abstract and more lived experience. Practice 6. The renewal mindset. Instead of seeing endings as losses, see them as space for renewal. A relationship ends, space for new relationships or deeper relationship with yourself. A job ends, space for new opportunities or directions you hadn't considered. Your body changes, opportunity to relate to your body differently, to develop new capacities. Old beliefs fall away, space for new beliefs, more accurate understandings to form. Difficult experiences end, space for healing, growth, and new beginnings. Every ending creates the possibility for a beginning. Nothing remains the same, which means nothing stays stuck forever. The deep practice, embracing the flow. The Tao Te Ching says, life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. In 2026, practice flowing with change instead of rigidly resisting it. When plans change, okay, what's the new plan? When people change, interesting, who are they becoming? Who am I becoming in relation to them? When your body changes, this is natural. How do I adapt and care for this changing body?
Part 8. Wisdom. Seeing things as they are. The story of the elephant in the dark. There's an old story told across many Buddhist cultures about 3 blind men who encounter an elephant. The first man touches the elephant's leg and declares, "An elephant is like a pillar, solid and round." The second touches the trunk and says, "No, an elephant is like a snake, long and flexible." The third touches the ear and insists, "You're both wrong. An elephant is like a fan, flat and movable." They begin arguing, each certain they know the truth, each convinced the others are mistaken. In fact, each is only perceiving one part of the whole. A sighted person observes this and understands. None of them is completely wrong, but none is seeing the whole truth. They're each experiencing reality through limited perception and mistaking their partial view for complete understanding. The Buddha told this story to teach about views and opinions. We all perceive reality through our limited perspectives, our past experiences, our beliefs and biases. We mistake our view for the whole truth and argue with others whose views differ. Wisdom is recognizing the limitations of your own perception and remaining open to a larger truth. Teaching, prajna, the wisdom that liberates. In Buddhism, wisdom, prajna, is not just intellectual knowledge or accumulated information. It's direct, experiential understanding of the nature of reality. Wisdom includes seeing impermanence clearly. We just explored this. Understanding cause and effect, karma. Recognizing the constructed nature of self. Seeing interconnection. Understanding suffering and its causes. Discerning what's actually happening from what you're adding to it. Wisdom is different from knowledge. Knowledge, I know that life is impermanent, intellectual understanding. Wisdom is living with deep embodied understanding that guides your actions and attitudes. You can know something without being wise about it. A person can know smoking causes cancer, but still smoke. Wisdom is knowledge integrated so deeply that it changes how you live. The 3 poisons. What obscures wisdom? Buddhism teaches the 3 mental states, called the 3 poisons, obscure our ability to see clearly. 1. Greed or craving, lobha. The endless wanting more, the belief that happiness comes from getting what you want. This keeps you focused on what you don't have rather than what is. 2. Hatred or aversion, dosa. The pushing away of what's unpleasant, the resistance to reality as it is, the anger and fear. This keeps you in conflict with life instead of working with it skillfully. 3. Delusion or ignorance, moha. Not seeing things clearly, being confused about cause and effect, believing in a permanent self, mistaking temporary pleasures for lasting happiness. These 3 work together to keep you trapped in suffering. Wisdom is the antidote, clear seeing that cuts through greed, hatred, and delusion. Practical application, cultivating wisdom in 2026. Practice 1. The view examination. Regularly examine your views and opinions. Ask, how do I know this is true? What am I assuming? What might I be not seeing? Could there be other valid perspectives? Am I holding this view loosely or rigidly? Is this view serving me, or am I serving the view? This practice loosens rigid thinking and creates openness to new understanding. Practice 2. Beginner's mind. Approach each day, each person, each situation with beginner's mind, as if you don't already know everything about it. With people, I think I know this person, but they're constantly changing. Who are they today? With situations, I've been in situations like this before, but this one is unique. What's actually happening here? With yourself, I think I know who I am, but I'm constantly evolving. Who am I becoming? Beginner's mind prevents you from being trapped by old categories and allows fresh perception. Practice 3. The cause and effect investigation. When something happens, good or bad, investigate cause and effect. Something good, what conditions led to this? What actions on my part contributed? What actions by others? What circumstances came together? Something bad, same investigation, not to assign blame, but to understand. Understanding cause and effect helps you take responsibility without self-blame, learn from experience, and make wiser choices going forward. Practice 4. The gap practice. There's often a gap between what's actually happening and the story you tell about it. What's actually happening? My partner didn't text me back for 3 hours. The story I'm adding to it? They don't care about me. They're probably mad at me. They might be cheating. This relationship is in trouble. When you can separate fact from story, you can respond to reality instead of to your imagination. Practice 5. Study and reflection. Wisdom comes from both direct experience and learning from others who've walked the path. In 2026, read wisdom teachings, Buddhist texts, commentaries by respected teachers, books on mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom. Listen to teachings, Dharma talks, many free online, podcasts on Buddhism and meditation, lectures by wise teachers. Reflect on what you learn. Don't just consume, contemplate. How does this apply to your life? What do you notice when you try this teaching? Discuss with others. Wisdom grows in community. Share what you're learning. Hear others' insights. Practice 6. The wisdom questions. When facing decisions or difficulties, ask the wisdom questions. What's the wise response here, not just the reactive one? What would my wisest self do in this situation? What will I wish I had done when I look back on this? What serves the long term over the short term? What serves all beings, not just my immediate desires? These questions activate your wisdom rather than your conditioning. The integration of wisdom and compassion. Buddhist teaching emphasizes that wisdom and compassion must develop together. Wisdom without compassion becomes cold, detached, and potentially harmful. You might see clearly, but not care about the suffering you see. Compassion without wisdom becomes sentimental, naive, and ineffective. You might care deeply, but help in ways that don't actually help or even cause harm. Wisdom plus compassion equals skillful action. You see clearly what's happening, you care about reducing suffering, and you know how to help effectively. This is the goal. In 2026, develop both. Meditation and study for wisdom. Metta practice and compassionate action for compassion. Then bring them together in how you live. The humility of true wisdom. Socrates said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." Buddhism agrees.
True wisdom includes knowing the limitations of your knowing. The wise person says, "I don't know," when they don't know, remains curious instead of certain, learns from everyone, even those with less formal knowledge, holds views lightly, is willing to be wrong and change her mind, recognizes that reality is always more complex than any model of it. The unwise person pretends to know what they don't know, is certain about everything, only learns from qualified teachers, holds views rigidly, needs to be right, mistakes their map of reality for reality itself. In 2026, practice the humility of wisdom. Be confident in what you truly know from direct experience, curious about what you don't know, and humble about the vast territory of the unknowable. The promise of wisdom. Wisdom doesn't make life perfect, but it makes life workable. You see more clearly, so you suffer less from delusion. You understand cause and effect, so you make better choices. You recognize impermanence, so you don't cling as tightly. You see interconnection, so you act with more care. Bit by bit, wisdom liberates you from unnecessary suffering. You still experience the difficulties of being human, but you don't add layers of confusion and resistance to them. This is the path. Develop wisdom, cultivate compassion, practice continuously. In 2026,
Part 9. Gratitude and Joy. The happiness that isn't dependent on circumstances. The story of the monk and the leper. A monk was walking along a path when he encountered a leper, covered in sores, begging by the side of the road. Most people hurried past, afraid of the disease, disgusted by the sight. But the monk stopped. He sat down next to the leper, took the man's scarred hand in his own, and asked, "How are you today, friend?" The leper looked at him in shock. No one had called him friend in years. Then, surprisingly, the leper smiled. "I'm grateful," he said. "Grateful?" The monk was puzzled. "You're sick, alone, in pain. What do you have to be grateful for?" The leper replied, "Yesterday it rained and I had water to drink. This morning a child smiled at me. Just now you called me friend and held my hand. I have not always had these things, so I'm grateful for them today." The monk was humbled. Here was a man with so little, suffering so much, who had found gratitude. And the monk realized, gratitude is not about having everything you want. Gratitude is about recognizing what you have, even in difficult circumstances. The monk asked, "How did you learn this?" The leper replied, "When I first became sick, I was bitter and angry. I focused on everything I'd lost, my health, my family, my place in society. I was miserable. Then, one day, I realized I could spend my remaining days angry about what I don't have or grateful for what I still do have. One makes suffering worse, the other makes it bearable. I choose gratitude. It doesn't cure my disease, but it cures my despair." Teaching, mudita and sukha, joy and happiness in Buddhism. In Buddhism, there are several words for different aspects of happiness and joy. Sukha, the happiness that comes from inner peace, contentment, and wisdom. This is the happiness Buddhism cultivates, not dependent on external circumstances, but arising from a peaceful heart and clear mind. Mudita, sympathetic joy, the ability to feel joy for others' good fortune. This is one of the 4 Brahma Viharas, divine abodes, and is considered essential to happiness. Piti, the joy that arises in meditation, a kind of rapture or bliss that comes from concentrated awareness. Buddhism is often mischaracterized as pessimistic because it starts with acknowledging suffering, but the path leads to profound joy,
a joy that's not fragile, not dependent on everything going your way, but rooted in understanding, acceptance, and an open heart. The difference between pleasure and joy. Pleasure depends on external circumstances, temporary, lasts only as long as the pleasant experience, creates craving for more. When it ends, creates suffering. Example, eating delicious food, receiving praise, buying something new. Joy, independent of external circumstances, more stable and enduring, doesn't create clinging. When it's present, creates peace. When it's absent, doesn't create suffering. Example, the joy of being present, of connecting deeply, of living according to your values. Buddhism doesn't reject pleasure, but it recognizes that if your happiness depends entirely on pleasant experiences, you're in trouble, because life contains both pleasant and unpleasant experiences, and pleasant ones don't last. True joy comes from inner cultivation, not from external acquisition. Practical application: cultivating gratitude and joy in 2026. Practice 1. Daily gratitude practice. Every day, name 3 things you're grateful for, but make them specific and varied. Not generic, I'm grateful for my health. Specific and felt. I'm grateful that my legs carried me on a walk today. I'm grateful for the warmth of the sun on my face. I'm grateful that my friend called when I was feeling lonely. Categories to explore: simple pleasures, good coffee, comfortable bed, hot shower. Relationships, specific things people did or said. Body and health, things your body can do. Difficulties, what hard experiences taught you. Ordinary moments that became special through presence. Do this in writing if possible. The act of writing deepens the practice. Practice 2. The gratitude for difficulty. This is advanced practice. For something difficult, find what you can be grateful for. Not bypassing, this is really hard and I don't like it, and within this difficulty I can find gratitude for what I'm learning, gratitude for who's showing up to support me, gratitude for the strength I'm discovering, gratitude for what this is teaching me about what matters. This isn't about pretending difficulty is good. It's about finding gifts even in hardship. Practice 3. Mudita, joy for others. When something good happens to someone else, especially someone you might feel competitive with, practice mudita. Instead of, why them and not me, that's not fair, I deserve that more than they do, try, how wonderful for them, may their joy continue. May they be happy. This is counterintuitive but powerful. When you're genuinely happy for others' good fortune, you multiply the happiness in the world, and you don't feel diminished by others' success. Practice with friends' successes, strangers' joy, even people you're jealous of. Every time you practice mudita, you're training your heart to be more spacious and less petty. Practice 4. Savoring practice. When something pleasant happens, don't rush past it. Savor it. Eating something delicious, pause before eating. Look at it. Smell it. Take small bites. Really taste each one. Notice the pleasure. Feel gratitude for this experience. A beautiful moment. Stop what you're doing. Really look. Take it in. Feel it fully. Maybe say internally, thank you for this moment. Good news or success. Don't immediately move to the next thing. Let yourself feel the joy. Share it with someone. Remember it. Celebrate appropriately. Our culture teaches us to always want more, to never be satisfied, to immediately move to the next thing. Savoring is the antidote. Practice 5. The Joy Journal. Once a week, write about moments of joy you experienced,
What made you laugh? What filled you with wonder? What moved you? What you appreciated? Over time, you'll have a record of joy. When you're struggling, you can read it and remember, joy is possible, even in my difficult life. Practice 6. Creating conditions for joy. While joy isn't dependent on circumstances, certain practices make it more likely. Physical, adequate sleep, regular movement, time in nature, healthy food, limiting alcohol and substances that disturb the mind. Social, time with people who uplift you, limiting time with people who drain you, authentic connection, contribution to others. Mental, meditation and mindfulness, limiting negative news consumption, reading uplifting material, creative expression, learning new things. Spiritual, regular practice, time in silence, connection to something larger than yourself, living according to your values. In 2026, structure your life to support joy, not undermine it. The joy of simplicity. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering comes from wanting what we don't have, but there's another source of suffering, having too much. The burden of excess. Too many possessions require maintenance and create stress. Too many commitments leave no space for rest and joy. Too many options create decision fatigue. Too much information creates mental clutter. Too much stimulation prevents peace. The joy of enough. Possessions you actually use and appreciate. Commitments that align with your values. Choices that satisfy without overwhelming. Information that enriches rather than burdens. Stimulation balanced with silence. In 2026, consider simplifying, not as deprivation, but as creating space for joy. Less stuff, more presence. Less commitments, more quality. Less noise, more peace. The deepest joy. The Buddha taught that the deepest joy comes not from getting what you want, but from wanting what you have, from being at peace with what is, from living with wisdom, ethics, and compassion, from being free from clinging and aversion. This doesn't.
Part X. Community and Connection. Walking the Path Together. The story of the bundle of arrows. A village elder was teaching young people about the importance of community. He gave each person a single arrow and asked them to break it. They easily snapped the arrows in half. Then he gave them a bundle of arrows tied together and asked them to break the bundle. They tried with all their might, but couldn't break it. The elders said, "This is the strength of community. Alone, you're like the single arrow, easily broken by life's challenges. But together, supporting each other, you are strong. You can withstand what would break you individually." One young person asked, "But if I'm strong, why do I need others?" The elder replied, "Even the strongest person faces challenges they cannot handle alone. And strength is not just about enduring, it's about flourishing. In community, you don't just survive, you thrive. You learn from others' wisdom, you receive support in your struggles, you experience the joy of giving and receiving help. You remember that you're not alone in this human experience." Another asked, "But what if others let me down? What if they hurt me?" "They will," the elder said simply, "because they're human, and humans are imperfect. But isolation hurts more than occasional disappointment. The practice is learning to be in community with wisdom, choosing wisely whom to trust, setting boundaries where needed, forgiving when possible, and staying open-hearted despite past hurts." Teaching, Sangha, the community of practice. In Buddhism, Sangha, community, is considered one of the three jewels, along with Buddha, the awakened one, and Dharma, the teachings. This is how central community is to the path. Sangha means the community of practitioners who support each other, the people who share your values and commitments, those who remind you what matters when you forget, fellow travelers on the path who understand the journey. Why Sangha matters. 1. You can't see your own blind spots. Others can reflect back to you what you can't see yourself, your growth, your patterns, your strengths, your areas for development. 2. You need accountability. It's easy to skip practice when you're alone. In community, there's gentle accountability. Others are showing up, so you show up too. 3. You need support through difficulties. When you're struggling, community holds you until you can hold yourself again. 4. You need to give as well as receive. Being needed, contributing, helping others, this is part of finding meaning and purpose. 5. You need witnesses. Someone to see your journey, your efforts, your growth, to say, I see you, I see how hard you're trying, you're not alone. 6. You learn from others' experience. Others have faced what you're facing, they've learned what you need to learn. Why start from scratch when you can learn from their wisdom? Practical application, building and nurturing community in 2026. Practice 1. Finding your Sangha. If you don't have a practice community, commit to finding one in 2026. In-person options, local meditation centers, Buddhist temples or centers, mindfulness groups, yoga communities with philosophical depth, study groups focused on wisdom traditions. Online options, virtual sanghas and meditation groups, online courses with community components, social media groups focused on practice, chosen carefully, video call practice groups. Creating your own. Gather a few friends interested in meditation and practice, meet weekly or monthly, sit together, discuss teachings, support each other. Start where you are. Even one practice friend makes a difference. Practice 2. Showing up consistently. Community requires presence. In 2026, attend regularly, whether in person or online. Be present when you're there, not checking your phone, not distracted. Contribute, share your insights, offer support, help with tasks. Be real, not performing perfection, but being authentically you. Practice 3. Giving and receiving. Community is not just about what you get, it's about what you give. Ways to give. Listen to others without trying to fix them. Share your experience. Others learn from your journey. Offer practical help when someone needs it. Acknowledge others' efforts and growth. Create welcoming space for newcomers. Contribute your skills and resources. Ways to receive. Ask for help when you need it. Accept support graciously. Let others contribute to you. Be vulnerable about your struggles. Receive feedback with openness. Both giving and receiving require humility and courage. Practice 4. Dealing with difficulty in community. Communities are made of imperfect humans, so difficulties arise. When someone bothers you, first look at yourself. What is this triggering in you? Practice patience and compassion. If needed, create boundaries. Remember, they're struggling too. When there's conflict, address it directly but kindly. Listen to understand, not just to respond. Be willing to be wrong. Focus on resolution, not on being right. When you're disappointed, acknowledge your feelings. Remember, people will let you down sometimes. Forgive when possible, and learn what this teaches you about discernment. Practice 5. Beyond Sangha, all relationships as practice. Not just formal practice communities, all your relationships are opportunities. Family. Can you bring mindfulness, patience, and compassion to family relationships? Can you see your family members clearly, not through childhood lenses? Friends. Can you be truly present with friends? Can you listen deeply? Can you maintain friendships even when life gets busy? Colleagues. Can you bring your practice to work? Can you be kind without being a pushover? Can you maintain your values in professional settings? Strangers, can you see the humanity in everyone you encounter? The checkout clerk, the driver who cut you off, the person asking for money, all suffering beings trying to be happy. Difficult people, can they become your patience teachers, your compassion practice, your opportunity to set boundaries with kindness? Every person you encounter is part of your practice, whether they know it or not. Practice 6, the relationship meditation. Regularly reflect on your relationships. Gratitude. Who am I grateful for? Who has supported me? Who do I take for granted? Amends. Who have I hurt even unintentionally? What amends do I need to make? What relationships need repair? Boundaries. What relationships drain me? Where do I need to set boundaries? What relationships do I need to leave? Cultivation. Which relationships do I want to deepen? Where do I need to show up more fully? How can I be a better friend, partner, or family member? This reflection helps you tend to relationships wisely. The practice of deep listening. One of the greatest gifts you can offer in any relationship is deep listening. Deep listening means full attention, no multitasking, listening to understand, not to respond, not interrupting or finishing their sentences, not thinking about what you'll say next, being comfortable with silence, hearing what's said and what's not said, presence without judgment. Practice. Today, have one conversation where you listen deeply. Notice how hard it is to really listen. Notice how much your mind wants to jump in with opinions, advice, or your own stories. Keep bringing your attention back to actually hearing the other person. This one practice can transform your relationships. The wisdom of interdependence. Buddhism teaches that we're not separate, isolated individuals. We're deeply interconnected. Your peace affects others. Others' peace affects you. Consider your peace contributes to others' peace. Your anxiety can trigger others' anxiety. Your growth inspires others' growth. Your suffering is connected to systems of suffering. Your healing contributes to collective healing. This interconnection means your practice matters not just for you, but for everyone you interact with. Taking care of yourself is taking care of others. Helping others is helping yourself. Individual transformation and collective transformation are inseparable. In 2026, practice with this awareness. Your awakening benefits all beings. Your peace ripples out. You're not just healing for yourself, you're healing for the world. Remember, you don't have to walk this path alone. In fact, you can't walk it fully alone. We need each other for support, for reflection, for accountability, for celebration, for love. In 2026, invest in community. Show up, be real, give and receive, build connections.
Part 11. Integration. Bringing it all together for a peaceful 2026. The story of the Zen gardener. A wealthy businessman visited a Zen master, frustrated with his spiritual practice. "Master, I've been studying Buddhism for years. I've read all the books. I understand impermanence, emptiness, the Eightfold Path, but my life hasn't really changed. I'm still stressed, still grasping, still suffering. What am I missing?" The master invited him to the monastery garden and handed him gardening tools. "Spend the afternoon helping our gardener." The businessman was confused, but did as asked. He spent the afternoon pulling weeds, watering plants, raking gravel. The work was simple, repetitive, and present-focused. His mind, usually racing with business concerns, gradually quieted. At day's end, the master asked, "What did you learn?" "That gardening is peaceful?" the businessman guessed. "No," the master smiled. "You learned that knowing about gardens is not the same as gardening.
You can read every book ever written about horticulture, but the garden only grows when you actually do the work. Pull the weeds, water the plants, rake the paths, day after day. He continued, "You've been studying Buddhism like reading about gardens. You understand the concepts, but Buddhism is not a philosophy to understand, it's a practice to embody. The path is walked with your feet, not your mind. Understanding impermanence intellectually doesn't help until you practice letting go. Knowing about mindfulness doesn't help until you practice presence. It's time to stop reading and start gardening." Teaching, from understanding to embodiment. We've covered many teachings in this guide: releasing the past with forgiveness and gratitude, setting wise intentions, establishing daily practice, living mindfully, working with difficulty, cultivating compassion, accepting impermanence, developing wisdom, finding joy and gratitude, building community. But understanding these teachings intellectually is just the beginning. The transformation happens in the living, in the daily practice, in the repeated application, until these ways of being become who you are. The gap between knowing and doing. Most people know what would help them. Meditation would bring peace, mindfulness would reduce stress, gratitude would increase happiness, compassion would improve relationships, exercise would benefit health. But knowing doesn't change behavior, only practice changes you. The practice plan for 2026. Here's how to integrate everything into a sustainable practice for the year. Daily practices, non-negotiable foundation. Morning, 15 to 30 minutes. 1. Wake with intention, 1 minute. 2. Meditation, 10 to 20 minutes. 3. Gratitude, 3 things, 2 minutes. 4. Review intentions, 2 minutes. 5. Mindful first activity, 5 minutes. Throughout day. 1. Mindfulness bells. Pause and breathe at transitions. 2. One activity fully mindful, eating, walking, or other. 3. Stop practice when stressed or reactive. 4. Practice with difficulties as they arise. 5. Compassionate speech and action. Evening, 10 to 20 minutes. 1. Meditation, 10 minutes. 2. Day review, 5 minutes. 3. Letting go practice, 2 minutes. 4. Gratitude or loving kindness, 3 minutes. Weekly practices. 1 day lived more intentionally, slower, less technology, more presence. 2. Gratitude journal entry. 3. Community practice, Sangha meeting, practice with friends. 4. Nature time. 5. Study, read teachings, listen to Dharma talks. 6. Review your intentions and how you're living them. Monthly practices. 1. Half-day or full-day retreat, deeper practice at home. 2. Review and adjust your practice based on what's working. 3. Check in with a practice friend or teacher. 4. Reflect on growth and challenges. 5. Recommit to your intentions. Quarterly practices. 1. More extended retreat if possible, even a weekend. 2. Major review. How am I different than 3 months ago? 3. Adjust intentions if needed based on learning. 4. Celebration of growth and effort. 5. Renewed commitment for next quarter. Making practice sustainable. Start small. If the daily practice seems like too much, start with 5 minutes meditation, morning and evening, 1 mindful activity per day, gratitude before sleep. Better to do less consistently than to plan more and quit. Build gradually. Add practices slowly. Month 1, establish meditation. Month 2, add mindful eating. Month 3, add community practice. Month 4, add study time, and so on. Be flexible. Life happens. Some days you'll do full practice. Some days you'll do minimum.
Some days you'll forget entirely. This is normal. The practice is beginning again, not never failing. Track without judgment. Keep a simple log. Did I meditate today? Yes or no. Did I practice mindfulness? Yes or no. Did I live my intentions? How? This builds awareness without harsh judgment. Find support. Share your practice plan with a practice friend who checks in weekly, a sangha that provides accountability, a teacher or mentor if possible, an online community committed to similar practice. Adjust as needed. After a few months, assess what's working, what's not working, what needs to change, what practices are most transformative for me. Your practice should evolve with you. When you struggle, and you will, common obstacles and how to work with them. I don't have time. Reality check. You have time for what you prioritize. Start smaller. 5 minutes is better than 0. What can you eliminate or reduce? Can practice be integrated into existing activities? I keep forgetting. Set reminders. Link practice to existing habits. Put visual cues in your environment. Practice at the same time or place daily. I'm not getting anywhere. Let go of expectations of dramatic results. Trust the process. Change is gradual. Keep a practice journal to notice subtle shifts. Remember, you're planting seeds, not harvesting immediately. I'm too busy, stressed, tired. These are exactly when you need practice. Even 2 minutes of breathing helps. Practice isn't one more thing to do, it's how you do everything. Rest can be practice, mindful resting versus collapsed scrolling. I feel like a hypocrite. I practice but still react, judge, struggle. You're not supposed to be perfect. Practice is exactly for imperfect humans. Notice growth over time, not perfection in each moment. Self-compassion is part of practice. Life got in the way. Life is the way. There's no practice separate from life. When you fall off, begin again. Every moment is a new opportunity. Missing a week doesn't erase previous practice. The monthly check-in. Each month, set aside time to reflect. What went well this month? Where did I practice skillfully? What growth do I notice? What brought me joy or peace? What was challenging? Where did I struggle? What patterns am I noticing? What do I need to work on? What did I learn? About myself? About practice? About life? What needs adjustment? In my practice? In my life structure? In my intentions? What am I grateful for? In my practice? In my life? In myself? This regular reflection keeps you conscious and engaged rather than going through the motions. The Year-End Review, December 2026. When you reach the end of 2026, look back. Who was I in January 2026? How did I relate to difficulty? How present was I? How kind was I to myself and others? Who am I now? How have I changed? What have I learned? How do I relate to life differently? What practices were most transformative? What do I want to carry into 2027? What do I want to release or adjust? This review honors your journey and prepares you for the next cycle. The ultimate integration. True integration means these practices are no longer separate from your life. They become how you live. You don't do mindfulness, you live mindfully. You don't practice compassion, you are compassionate. You don't work on letting go, you naturally hold things lightly. You don't try to be present, presence is your default. This doesn't happen overnight. It's the work of years, even lifetimes. But 2026,
Closing. Stepping into 2026 with peace. As we close this teaching, let's return to where we began, the threshold. You're standing between what was and what will be. Behind you is 2025, with all its lessons, joys, and sorrows. Ahead is 2026, unwritten, full of possibility. What will you bring into this new year? From 2025, you're bringing wisdom learned through experience, strength developed through difficulty, gratitude for what was good, forgiveness for what was hard, growth that happened even when you didn't notice. Into 2026, you're bringing intentions aligned with your deepest values, practices to cultivate peace daily, wisdom to work skillfully with challenges, compassion for yourself and others, understanding of impermanence, gratitude and joy, community and connection, commitment to continuous practice. You're not bringing resentments and grudges, released, regrets and self-blame, forgiven, unrealistic expectations, surrendered, old identities that no longer serve, shed. The Buddha's final teaching. As the Buddha lay dying, his final words to his disciples were, "All conditioned things are subject to decay. Strive with diligence." In other words, everything changes. Practice anyway. Nothing lasts. Practice anyway. You will face difficulty. Practice anyway. You will sometimes fail. Practice anyway. Life is impermanent and uncertain. Practice anyway. This is not pessimism, it's realism paired with commitment. Yes, life is impermanent and includes suffering. And yes, there is a path through. And yes, walking that path makes everything more workable, more peaceful, more meaningful. The invitation. Buddhism is an invitation, not a demand. The Buddha said, "Come and see for yourself. Don't believe because I said it or because it's written in a book. Practice and see what changes. Experience it directly." So this is my invitation to you. For 2026, practice for just this year and see what happens. Give meditation a real chance, not once or twice, but daily for months. Live mindfully as much as you can remember to. Meet difficulty with the practices we've explored. Cultivate compassion for yourself and others. Be part of a community. Study the teachings and reflect on them. Let go of what no longer serves you. And at year's end, assess. Am I more at peace? Do I suffer less? Am I wiser? Am I kinder? Is my life better? If yes, continue. If no, adjust or try something else. You are your own authority. A blessing for your journey. May you greet 2026 with an open heart and clear mind. May you practice daily, building the foundation of peace. May you meet difficulty with wisdom and courage. May you treat yourself with boundless compassion. May you see clearly the impermanent nature of all things. May you find joy in simple moments. May you cultivate gratitude for what is. May you be part of a supportive community. May you grow in wisdom and compassion. May you contribute to the healing of the world. May you remember when you forget and begin again. May you walk this path with dedication and joy. May you know peace not someday, but now, in this very moment. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free from suffering. May 2026 be a year of awakening.
Final words. Begin now. The new year is coming, but don't wait for January 1st. The present moment is always the right time to begin. Right now, you can take 3 conscious breaths.
Feel gratitude for being alive. Set an intention for how you want to live. Choose compassion over judgment. Let go of something you've been holding. Be present with this moment. Every moment is a new beginning. 2026 will bring challenges, this is certain, and you will have the tools to meet them, this is also certain. You are not broken. You don't need to become someone else. You need to wake up to who you already are, beneath the conditioning, the fear, the grasping. You need to remember your Buddha nature, the awareness, compassion, and wisdom that is your deepest self. The path is here. The practices are here. The community is here. Everything you need is available. The only question is, will you walk the path? The answer begins with a single step. One breath, one moment of presence, one act of kindness, one day of practice, and then another, and another, until the path is not something you walk, but who you are, until peace is not something you seek, but what you've become. Welcome to 2026. Welcome to your practice. Welcome home. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhi swaha. Gone, gone, gone beyond, gone completely beyond, awakened. So be it. End of teaching. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may my thoughts, words, and actions contribute in some way to that happiness and freedom for all.